All right, man. So it was a lot of things that happened this weekend that some things I gotta apologize for. Some things I went as planned. Some things didn't go as planned. But okay. So I wanna start with an apology. I just have to apologize. First game is the Vikings with the Browns, 21-17. Doc, your Vikings, did what they have to do against the Browns. It was a tight game. I mean, defensive, it was tight in my opinion. But I have to apologize to one person. This is hard to do. I gotta apologize to Carson Wentz, man. I gotta apologize to Carson Wentz. I'll be the bigger man, and I'll apologize to Carson Wentz because it was a throw in the end zone. That was a dime. That was a dime, man. I mean, I can't remember who he threw it to, Doc, but it was a dime of a touchdown at the end of the game, and that's a throw that elite quarterbacks can make. Now, I'm not saying that Carson Wentz is elite, back to being elite, but that was an elite throw, and I think you guys will be in good hands with Carson Wentz. The reason why I think it's different for Carson Wentz now with you guys is because of your head coach. He's good. He's really good with quarterbacks. And I saw a difference in Carson Wentz in this game because in previous stints that he's been in, he's so impulsive and so erratic. But what he did was he would take the check down. Before, he was always being overly aggressive and he was trying to make things happen that wasn't there. And I saw with my own two eyes, I watched the game and I said, this is a different Carson Wentz. I said, he's actually checking the ball down and taking what's there and not trying to be a hero. But when he needed to be in that last throw in the end zone for that touchdown, that was big. So congratulations, man. Congratulations, Doc, on that win. That was a big win for you guys.
Thank you, thank you. The Vikings are now 5-0 in London, so I love these games in London because somehow we don't lose in London, right? To your point about Carson and O'Connell as the head coach, for whatever reason, he seems to do a great job with quarterbacks. If you can't play quarterback for the Vikings, that's a problem, right? And Wentz, this last game was different than the week before. Like, I think he actually finally understood, like, dude, you ain't got to be the hero. Just take what's there. We'll play good football. Let's keep it close. We execute and we'll win the game. We do a really good job of winning close games, right?
Yeah.
So, like, he finally understood the memo, took it to heart, and nothing spectacular. Did make a great throw, right? But it's like, hey, as long as you're not trying, we will win the game if you ain't trying to win the game. Just do what you need to do. So we went against a really good defense, and Dylan Gabriel had a pretty decent game for a first timer starting internationally. I mean, but yeah, I will take the win. I will take the close win. We still remain, I know it's still early in the season. That was an important win for us to get going forward with our backup quarterback.
I told you, Lynx. I told you. I don't want to be that guy, but Wentz. I knew Wentz was gonna do a pretty good job in that system with that coach, with that team. And let's not ignore the fact that they do have Jordan Addison back as well, right? So Jordan Addison was there. JJ McCarthy didn't have his full set of weapons. Wentz does. And he's taking advantage of that. If I was to call something out, if I was to be a bit of, a critic on Wentz, I would say that his running and scrambling and putting himself in harm's way, a lot of that was unnecessary, trying to get the extra yard and not living to play another down. He at one point almost put the Vikings in jeopardy by it seemingly getting hurt just for an unnecessary extra yard. You got to be a little bit more aware of the situation of the predicament that you're in. I don't know who Minnesota has behind them, but I know they don't want that person taking snaps. I know that. So he needs to protect himself and do a better job of just getting down and play for the next snap. Outside of that, yeah, he's managing the ball, managing the team well, making the necessary throws at the necessary time, not making mistakes. I don't think he had an interception. Playing good ball. So I expect Minnesota to keep kind of riding this wave. Even if JJ McCarthy is healthy, I think they should stick with Wentz. It's a tough call because, for one, Wentz is getting the ball out quicker and JJ McCarthy it still seems as if he's in his own head. But one would think that he probably needs reps in order to kind of catch up to the pace. So it's a bit of a conundrum. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Do you put him in there for the long term ceiling potential? Because Wentz, this is Wentz ceiling. This is what we're saying. I don't see Wentz getting any better than what he is right now. So you have to also ask yourself, is this good enough to get you through the playoffs? Don't know. It could be another Sam Darnold situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they pay O'Connell and those guys the big money. They got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But for right now, for the next couple of weeks, I think Wentz is the guy, and I think he's gonna continue to, get them a couple more wins.
Yeah. Doc, that's a good question for you though on this. What you're O'Connell. What you doing in this situation, man? What are you doing?
And so if it were me, right? And I'm just going based off how Wentz played the last couple of weeks. If JJ McCarthy's ready to play, I play McCarthy. Right. I think I'm looking to get the upside. I realize there may be 2 or 3 games we struggle until his processing speed catches up to the game. But what he can do, Wentz can't do.
Yeah.
Right. And he's only going to get there playing. So every game he doesn't play is another game you got to wait for him to catch up. But it's tough because it's like, again, like, what do you do? What if it takes him 6 games to catch up to speed? What if he doesn't catch up to speed? I think he will, but what if he doesn't catch up to speed? And I think what's nice is O'Connell's job isn't on the line, so he can take the risk, right? If he was on the hot seat, you go with Wentz.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you milk Wentz for all you possibly can because you just can't afford to have a bad season with a quarterback who struggles because his job's not on the line. And it's like, hey, we're trying to build for something. I think you play McCarthy once McCarthy comes back.
Gotcha.
I agree with that. The only thing is you run the risk of possibly losing the locker room if you go with McCarthy over Wentz and knowing that McCarthy isn't playing better than him right now and you're playing the long game. Yep. Because Jefferson and Addison, those guys, they want to win now.
The ball too.
Yeah, they want to win, right? They want to win now. The whole team, defense, everyone, they want to win now. So you have to be very careful how you articulate that to the team if you're going to make that decision. I think the big thing here is you have to kind of gauge the potential of each quarterback based off of Sam Darnold's performance last year. Okay, so right now, none of them are playing as good as he played last year during the regular season. Do you think Wentz can catch up or surpass that? I doubt it. You obviously let Darnold go and tap JJ because you saw something in him that made you believe that eventually he will surpass that. So I think that's what he has to get that message across to the team that this is going to, within the next couple of weeks, by the end of the season, it's going to be here and not here, right? But with Wentz, it's going to stay right here in the middle.
Yeah, I agree. O'Connell definitely got some decisions to make. It's going to be interesting to see what he do over the next couple of weeks. So that's good. I just want to touch on one other thing before we get to the next game. Speaking of quarterbacks, the second old man in Cleveland, Joe Flacco, was just traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. And so that means Dylan Gabriel will be the man in Cleveland. And so do they move Shador to 2? I hadn't seen anything yet. I hadn't seen any moves on that yet.
That's the story. The story isn't Dylan Gabriel being the number 1 quarterback. It's now Shador Sanders is number 2. That's what the story is.
Man, you burying the lead. The Bengals and the Browns had a trade. That's the story.
Right? Flacco got traded. Shador moved up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know how this is. I didn't see. I thought Dylan Gabriel had a good game too. I think he he played well for just coming in and playing as a rookie and handling himself and really looking the part. I know it's with him. It's going to be up and down because different teams. Again, this was your first full game, and now teams got something and they're gonna go to work. So it's going to be up and down. So it's going to be interesting there in Cleveland. I just wanted to ask you guys about that. What your thoughts?
But realize what it means. Cleveland has enough faith in Dylan Gabriel and Shador as the backup that they could let Flacco go.
Yeah.
The Bengals need a quarterback. They got themselves the stopgap, for what it's worth. They try it.
Much of a stopgap.
They try it, right? But from the Cleveland Browns perspective, it's like, hey, Flacco is expendable enough that we could get a fifth or a sixth and send him. Because between Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders, what we've seen is good enough that we don't think we need to play Flacco the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And by good enough, it's good enough to get them a high draft pick so that they can get a quarterback in next year's draft.
Yeah. Definitely. I could definitely see that happening.
It's a tank if I ever seen one before.
Organic tanking, huh?
Yeah.
The organic, all natural.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right. So, okay, the next game was the Texans and the Ravens. The Ravens look horrible, man. And I knew this was going to happen. Without Lamar Jackson, even with Lamar, they were at least they were in the games and lost. But this was over before it even started. I mean, the Texans. C.J. Stroud was shredding these dudes to pieces, and something else on top of this also in the Ravens defensive backfield. I mean, the DBs, they just signed CJ Gardner-Johnson to their practice squad. Yep. So they signed him. So hopefully they know how to handle his bravado, his kind of, the type of player he is. But they need him. They need somebody like that in their backfield, defensive backfield. So hopefully he could make a change. I don't know, and I don't even know if Lamar's going to be back next week. But yeah, they Texans the Ravens, they're not as good as everybody thought they were going to.
When I hear you say they need someone like that, it makes me cringe. Not that he isn't a good player. I think he's a great player, but he's been bouncing around because of his abrasiveness. He's an abrasive player. Like, he rubs people the wrong way. And not just people on the other side, but on his team and coaches and upper management. He rubs everybody the wrong way. And he doesn't seem to know that, right?
Yeah.
But if you're bringing him in because you need someone to help kickstart the defense, that also assumes that you're expecting some sort of a leadership quality out of him, and that is not the person I think you would want to be the leader of your defense. But look, Ravens, I can't put my finger on exactly what's wrong, because they got talent all over the field, both sides of the ball. It has to be something with coaching. So I don't think just bringing a player like a safety or a DB in is going to miraculously turn things around. I know Kyle Hamilton is hurt, not a long-term injury, but I think he's going to miss a few games. So he's probably coming in to be a stopgap for that. But outside of that, they need to figure this out. I just hope whenever they figure it out, it's 2 weeks from now and not next week. They can figure it out in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, not next week. Yeah, I need them to stay exactly the way they are, confused and discombobulated. I need that this week for them.
I hear you.
The thing that don't make sense with the Ravens is the offensive corner has been there for 3 years and the defensive corner has been there for 9. So it's like it's not like a new coordinator.
No,
and they don't know what's going on. Like there should be stability.
Yeah, I think what it is, Doc, is at some point, if you're not reinventing yourself, if you're not putting in new wrinkles, people figure you out, right? So if they've been there, especially on the defense, you said the defensive coordinator has been there for 9 years. Yeah, right. So people they got the secret sauce, and he isn't doing anything different than what he's done the past couple of years. So when you have defensive coaches like that, and they're not year after year just trying to add new wrinkles to the scheme, evolve, right, with what's going on around the league, then you could see situations like this happen.
Orr's been with the team for 9 years, but this is his second year as the defensive coordinator. But clearly, they gave up 44 points.
Yeah, the defense wasn't even that great last year. It wasn't that great last year, because the guy that had them playing really good on the defensive side, he's now the head coach for Seattle.
The Seattle.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they, I don't know. Like you say, I don't know. It has to be something there going on in Baltimore. So, like you say, Lee, they'll figure it out at some point, but not next week.
Not next week. Not this week. Not this week, though.
Not this week.
I don't want to figure it out.
I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So the next game we got on the slate, Indianapolis Colts and the Raiders. This was a blowout, man. Daniel Jones, It's looking good, man. Daniel Jones is looking real, real good. 3 touchdowns. I think it was like 200 and something yards that he had. Just blowing teams out. I mean, they are looking good. The Colts are 4-1, and they playing some good ball. Daniel Jones is just, man, it's night and day. It's night and day. I never thought I would have said this after he left New York, but man, it is a huge difference in Daniel Jones and how he's operating this offense. So Colts just rolling, man.
Yeah, what's the Giants owner's name? Mara?
Yes.
That man he has the patience of a saint.
Boy.
There's no way I could see this. And then after seeing what happened last year with Saquon, there's no way. There's no way heads wouldn't be rolling right now. I don't know. But Daniel Jones, I didn't think he would have been this good. But you got to now, again, factor in the Giants equation into all of this and their seemingly inability to be able to coach up their young draft picks and get them to play at a high level. They couldn't do it with Saquon. You would think that would be easy pickings to be able to get him to play efficiently, to play as a superstar, the superstar that he is. But now with Daniel Jones, everyone thought it was a Daniel Jones problem. Like, you couldn't convince me it wasn't Daniel Jones. But now I'm like, obviously it's the Giants. Obviously. So I think it further, like, it increases the indictment that I have towards Daboll and Shane. Well, not even Shane, just really right now it's just on Daboll. Like, what are you doing? So, good for him. Steichen, that's your boy, right? Steichen, he looked like he knows what he's doing.
Know what he's doing, yeah.
And he got this offense. I mean, this offense is running efficient. You got Jonathan Taylor riddling off 3 touchdown games every other game. The running game is just not carrying the team, but there's this nice balance between the run and the pass. And Daniel Jones, you give him a little bit of help getting that extra defender off of his back, so the other team has to take into account the run. He can pick you apart. Now only this year I see why they call him Danny Dimes, and now they don't even want to call him Danny Dimes no more. Now he's Indiana Jones or something like
Indiana Jones.
But I see it now. Like, I'm like, that's why they called him that. You couldn't see it with the Giants.
Yeah, you couldn't see it.
See it.
The thing about it was, when he was with the Giants, he had arguably a better running back in Saquon Barkley, right? And wasn't looking like this with Saquon. Definitely wasn't looking like this without Saquon. He goes to a team, right? Gets the starter job and starts the season and is balling out from the get-go, right? And so when Saquon looks better, no longer with the Giants, Daniel Jones looks better, no longer with the Giants, all of a sudden I gotta give some apologies to Shane, and it may not be the GM. It may just be somehow the head coach ain't using the talent the way the talent is supposed to be used, right? Because they're looking better no longer with the New York Football Giants. And so, he's pushed his last chip in with Jackson Dart. So he's hoping that Dart plays him into keeping his job, because if Dart's not the dude, he may not have another chance. So, but kudos to Daniel Jones making the decision to go to Indy, taking the job away from Anthony Richardson, and just running with it like that ain't no tomorrow. So,
yeah. I mean, kudos to him and his agent. They made a great decision on that. Great workout in their favor. So, speaking of Jackson Dart, Giants go into New Orleans, play the Saints. The Saints hadn't won a game. They finally get off the snide, win a game against the Giants. I kind of figured that Jackson Dart was gonna struggle a little bit. I kind of figured that. I know how the NFL goes. You get one start, you look good, and then the next week, especially as a rookie coming in, if you, I mean, the only person I've seen who has done that in recent years is Jaden Daniels. Looking good, consistently, and so, but I knew Jackson Dart was gonna run into a wall a little bit, in this game. And Spencer Rattler, man, just he's dropping them in there, looking good. So I'm kind of impressed with Spencer, how he playing the game. Great passes at the end of the game to win this for the Saints. I still don't see anything from the Saints anyway. I mean, it's the Saints. I don't see anything from them, but they beat the Giants. So, kudos to them. Kudos to them for beating the Giants. But I know Jackson Dart was I figured it was going to happen.
40 attempts, Jackson Dart. That's not going to win you any games. 2 interceptions, a fumble, ball security was an issue. And that's what happens when you got a player, like you're just putting him in there strictly for his athleticism. That's the only reason you're putting him there over Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to have him overcompensate for deficiencies in your scheme, right? The scheme isn't working. You can't get the ball. Whatever your passing concepts are, you can't sustain drives. You can't establish a running game. So you put an athletic quarterback in the backfield and you want him to go out there and make a play. And that's what he feels compelled to do. And that's why you have him contributing to these turnovers. And if they don't fix that, it's going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Dable, I mean, he's still on the clock. I still don't think he's going to survive the season. I think at some point, if it does spiral out of control, he will get fired, and this could be the start to that spiral.
In the Superdome, Kellen Moore was super excited, hugs and kisses, champagne popping, got his first win of the season. And then he went home at night, and I'm just like, man, why we had to win this game, man? We trying to set ourselves up to get the number 1 pick next season. Yeah, we get the first win, but Spencer Rattler ain't gonna be the dude. It would be, man, we could have organically lost to a team that only got 1 win. And ain't no one's gonna say nothing if we lost and went 0-5 to the Giants. So, like sometimes you can't win for losing. They got the victory. Happy for Kellen Moore. He got his first win as a head coach. But it's like, man, that's one, at the end of the season, we gonna look back and be like, that's when it would have been okay if we had let that one go.
Yeah.
And we need this is probably a conversation for another day. I would love to kind of really dive into this because we're seeing this of quarterbacks that are getting these second and third chances, and quarterbacks who we thought were busts, who we thought were washed out. They were bad picks, and they get the right coaching. They get enough time. Now, all of a sudden, they look like really good quarterback.
Daniel Jones.
I think looking at Spencer Rattler, if I was to really be fair, right, I think in time he could really be a good quarterback. I don't see much difference in his skill set and Baker Mayfield's. Yeah. Now, I don't know if he has the moxie and the fortitude to really, gut it out the way Baker has been able to. That's a different story. But I'm talking about with the physical intangibles, he has it. Looking at this crop of quarterbacks coming out of college, where I was real bullish on them at the beginning of the season. Real bullish. I've watched the first 5 weeks of college football and I've been vastly disappointed. So I think any team right now that's trying to position themselves, Browns, Saints, right, to get a quarterback, it's not going to fix everything overnight. It's not. Yeah. You don't have anyone coming out of college right now that has Caleb Williams type physical traits.
Yeah.
Right. That is just above all of the X's and O's. You don't have that guy. So you need to make it work with the guys that you got now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of tanking, I don't know if Aaron Glenn is intentionally trying to tank or he just can't coach. And I don't know what's going on. But the Cowboys look like they was world beaters against these dudes. I mean, you got Jerry Jones flipping off the bird, flipping people off in the box, giving people a bird, and they just showing off. Dak looks good. I think they said what I saw. They say Dak is actually one of the front runners for MVP. Him, Daniel Jones, and couple other guys. Josh Allen, but we're gonna talk about that. And the Cowboys just come in, look good. The Jets, this is another head scratcher because I thought for the Jets that Aaron Glenn was going to really kind of turn things around. I mean, this is early. I mean, it's 5 games. You're 0-5, right? I think they are the only team that hadn't won yet since the Saints won last week. So they hadn't won a game yet. And it's I don't know how they win in the next couple of weeks. So this is going to be tough on Aaron Glenn. I hope he's not a one and done, but it's happened. It's happened. And so I hope he's not a one and done, but based on what I'm seeing right now, I thought Justin Fields was going to be taking this next step. And again, he is one of those quarterbacks where I believe in Justin Fields, as a matter of fact. But there's some things that he does too, taking off with the ball, trying to, just trying to be the hero and not, going down or throwing it out, and it turns into turnovers, and then, it just goes the other way on you. So, the Cowboys just look good against the Jets. But again, it's the Jets.
I don't know what's going on with Aaron Glenn. The guy was a great defensive player. I think he was a really good defensive coordinator in Detroit. I don't know if coaching under Dan Campbell allowed him to be a bit more cerebral, talk about accountability, whereas Dan Campbell was able to kind of demand it and get the locker room all in one accord. And now that he's the head coach, that, I don't want to say deficiency, but that responsibility he hasn't quite gotten up to speed with. And so he's expecting these guys to be accountable, but somehow hasn't gotten them to be accountable. They're not communicating. They still don't have a turnover yet. They're the only team who hasn't gotten a turnover after 5 weeks of football, right? And that's his expertise, is the defensive side of the ball. So, but if anything's going to turn around, it's going to have to be him, because it ain't going to come down from the owner, right? He got to be the person to set the culture and get everything to kind of get up to speed. So they seem to be struggling, is a nice way of saying it. And he's got to be the person to turn it around, because it's not going to come from anyone above him. So
yeah, I think Aaron Glenn deserves some patience. This is the Jets. Like, it's not as if they have this legacy of winning that he needs, that there's some bar that he needs to live up to, or some level of expectation. It's the Jets. That being said, he did coach under Dan Campbell. And I think people need to remember when Dan Campbell, his first year with the Lions, he was 0-8. He started 0-8. Mm-hmm. And I think he ended up with a 3-win record that year. So give Aaron some grace, give him some patience, and let him see this all the way through. He has to totally flip over the culture of that organization himself. Unfortunately, he has no help from ownership. I don't know how much help he has from the executive branch. We all know that's been deficient. That's been part of the problem for the past couple of years. So it's all on him. And that's going to take some time for him to be able to turn things around. Some things happen quicker than others. If he had the right foundation, like Sean McVay did when he started off with the Rams, it could have been a quicker turnaround, but he doesn't. It's all on him. It's all on him. So Dan Campbell, like I say, Dan Campbell's 0-8, his first stretch. Hey, let Aaron figure it out. Give him some time. Give him at least 2-3 years, man.
Yeah, that'd be good for him to get that time to really get things sorted out. So this next game, what can I say? Broncos against my Eagles, and we take the L, man. We take the L. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
I know he was going to say that. I know he was going to say that.
It is what it is.
I say, watch when we get on this. He can say, no big deal.
It is what it is, man. It is.
We can't win them all. All right,
you can't win them all. Look, at the beginning of the season, they had us losing all these games. It's first 5, right?
No, they didn't. Lance. No, they didn't. Stop. No. Stop lying. Don't lie on this podcast. Stop it. I'm not going to let you do that.
They did let you do that. Remember, we had this conversation. They did say we was going to win like 1 game or 2 games.
No one said that.
What?
No one said 1 game out of 5. Nobody said that. Not one analyst said that. None. Prove it. I need to see the article.
I'm gonna bring receipts, man. I'm gonna bring receipts.
Ain't some nobody receipts. Say that.
But Denver came in. Look, Eagles were up. 2 touchdowns. Led them back in. In the fourth quarter, and they came down. The refs was heavy-handed. The refs were not heavy-handed. They I don't know what it was. The game would have been over if they that yellow flag came out against Dallas Goedert. I mean, at the end of the game, we would have been on the 5-yard line, scored a game over. But, things bounce in different ways. Refs don't make calls. Things happen. It happens in every NFL game. No big deal. The things like this happen. You don't let it get to this point to where you need a flag in order to win the game. Just go out and win the game. If you would have you up by 2 touchdowns, everybody say, everybody wanted the Eagles to pass the ball. The Eagles pass the ball and you lose, right? So get back to the recipe of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley touched the ball 6 times, and that's not a recipe to win, especially when you're the Eagles. I think what happened there is he kind of tweaked his knee a little bit on one of those plays, bang knees, but it's not a big deal. We'll bounce back. This is the hey, look, this was the Denver Broncos Super Bowl. I mean, they was in the locker room with smoke and they celebrating and they popping champagne and they doing all this stuff. Hey, congratulations on your Super Bowl. Congratulations, Denver. Y'all won the Super Bowl of beating the Eagles in week 5. Congratulations. Let me give you all a hand clap, man. Y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve it. It was good. Sean Payton, congratulations for taking your bus and riding down Broad Street so everybody can see that you guys won the game. Instead of going the route y'all was supposed to go, you wanted to take the bus and go down Broad Street so you could rub it in a little bit. It's all right, man. Super Bowls are won and lost, man. Week 5 Super Bowl. Congratulations.
Lincoln, you are insufferable.
I don't know whether to call him a sore winner or sore loser. I don't know.
I don't know how hard. I don't think you realize how hard it is for us to just sit here and listen to that. Man. Okay. So everybody want the Eagles to throw the ball. Yes. You have 2 number 1 wide receivers on your roster. You should be able to throw the ball. Yeah. And you should be able to win. It shouldn't always have to be on Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is hurt. Ain't no big deal. Wrong. That's a big deal because that's the only part of your offense that's actually guaranteed to get you guys some wins. Because for whatever reason, unless it's the Rams, y'all can't throw the ball and win. You can't. Okay? You still got A.J. Brown, who he can't eclipse 50 yards. He can't eclipse 50 yards. So I still say, Sirianni, he needs to figure this out. He needs to figure this out. Jalen Hurts is too good of a quarterback, I think, to be in this situation where he can't put together an efficient passing game. Yes, he had a lot of attempts. I think he had, 38 attempts?
38 attempts.
280 yards, 60% completion percentage. But he had 2 touchdowns, no interception. But by all means, he had a pretty okay game. Yeah. He had an okay game. But y'all can't keep relying on Saquon Barkley to bail you guys out. You can't. Because at some point, I think right now he's nicked up, which is why he only had 6 attempts. Mm-hmm. Only 6? Something's wrong. And your line is dinged up, which is why you guys aren't pushing as much as you did before. So you all need to figure this out. Yeah. And I told you this before this game, right? So I don't think the Broncos consider this their Super Bowl. Now, come on, that's ridiculous. Are they excited that they won the game? Yeah, I would be excited too. But you guys, let's see how this carries on. Let's see how this carries. I want to see who's going to save Sirianni this season. Let's see who saves him this season. Because that dude, he got 9 lives. This dude would say, congratulations, it's your Super Bowl. Get out of here with that, man.
There were a couple of games this weekend that, for me, were like, if you for real, let's see what you do this game. And for me, the Denver Broncos is one of those teams. The Denver Broncos playing well enough to win, much less winning. It's like, they're a legitimate contender in the AFC. They got 6 sacks on Jalen Hurts. Now, the line's banged up. That's part of it, but nonetheless, they got 6 sacks on him. Right. The thing about it is we got to see with the Philadelphia Eagles, if Saquon's hurt, how are they going to move the ball? Because I think A.J. Dillon's the backup. He had 2 carries?
Yeah.
You guys just seem to abandon the run, right? And just try to do it just with the pass. Even though Jalen Hurts is a more than adequate passer, he should be throwing the ball 38 times a game. That's not his game, right? The other thing is winning is a wonderful deodorant. And for the last 4 weeks, y'all been winning and everything been smelling good. And now that y'all got the L, y'all got to actually deal with some stuff now. Y'all got to deal with the A.J. Brown, and he want the ball, but we tried to get you the ball and we didn't win. So what does that mean? And do we try to run the ball more as receivers? So to Lee's point, y'all got to sort some stuff out. Now that the deodorant is off, y'all got the loss, the reality sets in, and are you guys able to stay cohesive or not?
Who you guys played this week, Lynx?
We got the Giants.
Oh, yeah, deodorant back on.
Yeah.
Deodorant back on.
Hold on. We got to talk about that. But, you know, I hear what y'all are saying, and I just heard a report that Saquon Barkley called a meeting today, actually, with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Those three. So that those three got together.
Saquon.
They asked Saquon, Saquon, what was said in this meeting, and obviously, he's not going to say what was said in the meeting. So anyway, that was a positive for me, that Saquon again is being that guy that kind of steps up as a leader and saying, hey, look, man, and I don't think this was a conversation about hey, man, what's going on with you two? I think this was a conversation of, hey, what can we do as three leaders on the team to, get with the coaches and let them know what time it is from an offensive perspective, and let's figure this thing out. I think that's where this
was what's going on with you two. That's what this was.
No,
Come on. That's what this was. That's what this was.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
What's going on? Because when you look at the game with the Broncos, right? Hurts was trying to get the ball to AJ.
Oh yeah.
There's a disconnect there, Lynx. There's something is wrong with that connection. I don't know if it's timing. I don't know if they're just not on the same page. But for the amount of attempts that he's making to trying to get AJ the ball, and for them all of the miscues and the non-completions that's happening, they need to fix that. Now, what I'm disappointed in, I think it should be Sirianni who should be the person trying to put and figure that out. And this is what I'm talking about with Sirianni. Like, it's always somebody else coming in and fixing up the mess. Where is he? Now, maybe he is doing something, but if you as a player, Saquon, feel like you are now compelled to have to do it yourself outside of a coach's intervention, then that tells me a lot about the coach and that situation and his leadership of the team. Because I thought Sirianni was a player's coach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's a player's coach.
He's doing the Phil Jackson. He's let the guys figure it out. He's not calling a timeout.
Stop it.
He's just letting them figure it out themselves.
You're on the sideline. Okay, let's go. AJ.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah. But I think definitely. I think Sirianni, they also said from a coaching perspective, these guys, after this game and with the short week coming up, playing on Thursday, that they figuring this thing out. They're gonna fix it. I think it's gonna be fixed. And I think this is a scary thing for us to be 4-1 and we're not clicking on all cylinders. That's kind of scary. So when we do figure it out, it's gonna be something. So they'll figure it out.
Scary for who, Links? Because what if you don't figure it out?
If you don't figure it out, that's another kind of scary.
No way.
Right.
Yeah. So that's
that scary goes both ways.
Get it. They'll get it.
You hope they'll get it.
They're gonna get it. Yeah.
This is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like take the fandom off, right?
I got you.
You know he can't.
Yeah.
I know he can't. But try. Right?
Go ahead.
Who in that organization, right, from a leadership perspective, take Jalen Hurts out of it? Because Jalen Hurts, his leadership, it's not a galvanizing, bring everybody together type of leader.
Right.
Right. He's a different type of leader. Who do you have so much faith in that this is going to get figured out?
I mean, in all intents and purposes, Sirianni. Seriously.
In trouble.
No, I'm telling you.
In trouble.
I'm telling you, Sirianni is going to fix it out. You know why he's going to fix it? Because when we were in this position last time, when we were 10-1 and then had that collapse, Sirianni it was the same kind of situation with the offensive coordinator. It was a new offensive coordinator. He couldn't call a play. Sirianni was trying to, do things and whatnot. He does not want a repeat of that, because what I think happened was Jeffrey Lurie and Howie got him in a room and they was like, you need to fix this now. Fix it. Or you out. Yeah, right. Literally. And so he fixed it. And I think he's learned a lot from that experience. And he's gonna get some help. Something's gonna happen where he'll get it figured out.
You know how that got fixed, right?
Yeah, they fired those coaches.
No. They got Saquon Barkley. That's how they got fixed.
Look, that was the season before, though, right? Link's talking about the season before.
No. But they fired guys, and things still didn't get much better. That's what I'm trying to say. He fired OC and DC.
But that's when we fired the OC and DC, That's when Vic Fangio came in,
Right.
and then we brought in Kellen Moore.
In the
Right.
offseason.
And
Yes.
And
then
it got better. It got a lot
and
better. Y'all just
yeah,
didn't win y'all didn't win the Super Bowl, but it got better.
right, it got
And
better.
then the next season you
And then
got
yeah,
Saquon.
yeah.
Right.
Yes, Saquon.
So yeah, but anyway, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. So
Okay.
all right. Next game, you had the Dolphins against the Panthers. Darren Waller looks like he might be a nice, good little fit there in Miami, and looks like he's there's some consistency there. Look like he's back. After being out, so he really helped the Dolphins out. They actually look better than I thought they were going to look without Tyreek. And so maybe they're looking at what they could do without Tyreek Hill, but they look kind of good. Tua, was doing his thing. But at the end of the day, Carolina Panthers pull it off, man. 27-24 in a tight match. It was going back and forth and whatnot. But Carolina is kind of what's Carolina's record now? What are they, 2-2?
2-3.
2-3.
2-3.
2-3. Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad. But I mean, the Dolphins, Panthers, I still think Mike McDaniel is going to be fired, but and he needs to go somewhere and be a offensive coordinator somewhere. I think he can do that. I think he could really, help somebody out from a OC standpoint and not from a coaching standpoint. But they come up short. Panthers win the game.
Man.
Yeah, I think reports were that after the game, the Dolphins owner had a closed door meeting with McDaniel. And McDaniel, he admitted, said that did happen. There was some, not choice words, but basically the owner, he exhibited his frustration on losing the games and the situation that the team is in now. And, I'm just saying that, I think Flores would have had this team in a much better situation, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Carolina, Dowdle, 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I did not see that one coming, but they got this one. It almost looked like that the Falcons game all over again. So give Panthers some credit here. Tua had a pretty good game, 3 touchdowns, had a bunch of yards, spread the ball around to Waddle, and got who the other person was that caught a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But he looked pretty efficient out there. I'm spreading the ball around. But again, McDaniel, he just doesn't have this team all pointing in the same direction. Defense can't seem to hold their water, and you're gonna keep having these kind of mishaps. So you might be right, Lynx. He might be looking for a coordinator job sooner rather than later. This keeps up.
I mean, getting back to Ricky Darnold, he was with the Cowboys last year, and he was a good running back. He wasn't 200 yards a game, good running back. So I don't know how much that is just the Dolphins defense, and how much that was just him having the game of his life kind of thing.
What's the Dolphins?
But Ricky Darnold going for 200. That's impressive. And
Yeah.
then we'll see what happens with McDaniel. He definitely on the hot seat now.
Yeah.
Because you listen to Carolina.
It's amazing how fast things turn around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it was just a couple of years ago. He was the wonder
God's
kid.
gift to football.
It wasn't. Didn't he drop 70 on the Broncos? Was it 70? 70 points?
It was something like that. Yeah.
Right.
I remember that. Yeah, it was a high scoring game. Yeah. Yeah. It does. It flips on you quick, man. So, you got to be ready. Just like the Detroit Lions taking care of the Cincinnati Bengals. Lee, your boy looked good, man. Jared Goff looking good.
Yeah.
Looking real good, looking solid. Again, okay, it's against the Bengals, right? But I mean, the offense looks good. I think I just saw it today. I didn't look at the entire list, but I think on Stephen A. Smith's A list, he has the Detroit Lions as the number 1 team in the NFL. And they've been looking good since they fixed everything from week 1 after losing to Green Bay. They got that playbook back in play from Ben Johnson, and they just rolling with that. So I mean, they're looking good overall. Looking like a team to beat in the NFC, man.
They are a complete team, and they should be ranked at the top of the NFC because I think on all 3 phases they're playing good ball.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Goff, and I've said it time and time again, you cannot make him the focal point of your offense. Okay, and these past couple of games, I don't think he's had any attempts over 25. So in this game, he had 23 attempts, completed 19, a 83% completion percentage, that's his game.
That's
3 touchdowns, no interceptions. You keep him at a minimal in terms of passing, and you threaten the team with the run, you have Montgomery with 18 attempts, you had Gibbs with 12 attempts, and the team has to stack the box to make sure that they don't get run over. Goff is going to pick you apart.
Yeah.
Like I said, my only problem is that if anything goes wrong with this offense, if Montgomery gets dinged up, if Gibbs has to miss a few games, and you have to put the emphasis and more of the responsibility on Goff to get you through it, that right there is not the recipe for success. That's all.
We know that the Lions are good. I ain't gonna spend too much time on the Lions. The Bengals. You got two premier wide receivers, right? Your quarterback goes down, and after 2-3 weeks, you fishing for another quarterback, and you're gonna go to 40. Is he 41 now? He's still 40, right?
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
And make the trade within your division with your rival.
Yeah.
Y'all did not think this through.
Yeah.
You had your money on Joe Burrow, who tends to be injury prone, gotta say it, but Browning clearly is not what everyone thought Browning was going to be, right? And so now you're trying to salvage what you can of the season while you still can, and hoping Joe Flacco lighten in the bottle one more time to hold the fort down until December.
I feel sorry for them because it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any better. So they must not have been watching film. But anyway, in this last game of the week, you had the Buccaneers 38, Seahawks 35. Baker Mayfield is the comeback kid, man. He's the comeback kid. I mean, he's balling out. I mean, playing really well. Got the Buccaneers up there playing well. One of the better teams in the NFC as well. This NFC is going to be looking. It's going to be looking tight. It's going to be looking good. This is going to be a good, nice little playoff scenario if it keeps up in this way. I'm excited for this, man. I like it. I like to see Tampa Bay, playing good, and Baker Mayfield doing his thing. So comeback kid and Sam Darnold, man. Sam Darnold was looking good too. So I mean, he they come up short, but he was looking good. I mean, what can I say? Buccaneers just. They clicking.
Yeah, Baker's looking, like I said earlier, complete turnaround, reinvented himself. He's a top tier quarterback. He's actually a quarterback where you can put it on his shoulders and he'll will the team to a victory. He's shown it time and time again for the past couple of seasons. So when they were down, I watched this game and I just knew Baker's going to get them in position, and they're going to win it. And that's what happened. Sam Darnold, I think he threw an ill-advised interception late. That's what Sam Darnold does. And it's the same. I could see it in his eyes. I could see the ghost in his eyes when because it was the Tampa Bay, they got pressure on him. And right when my man was about to hit him, he threw the ball and he was off kilter. I think almost like skidded off of a defender's helmet and it deflected, got intercepted. And I'm like, yeah, he saw ghosts again. And Don, I get Doc. I get that's what, that's what you've seen it. And that, when things are good, but things are not going to always go your way. And you need a quarterback that's going to be able to navigate you through those murky waters. And Donald is not, he hasn't shown that he's able to do that just yet. I'm not sure if he's ever going to be able to do it, but at least at this point, he still hasn't been able to. So that being said, it was a really good game. It was fun to watch. I'm not too concerned about Seattle yet, but Tampa Bay, I think they're going to be, they're someone to reckon with. I'm a little bit leery of them playoff time.
Two really good teams going at it. Blow for blow, 38-35, two reclamation project quarterbacks playing really well. Baker Mayfield's playing MVP level this year. He's really balling out. I'm happy for Sam Darnold that he's left Minnesota and is playing well. You can't even say it was because of Minnesota at this point. Like, he's playing well. He's come to his own. For whatever reason, when it seems to be that pressure situation, things don't seem to go well for him. And I don't know how he gets that monkey off his back, how he turns that page and changes that narrative, but that's easy to write that narrative about him now, right? Whereas like when the pressure builds to the most, all of a sudden he makes the ill-advised throw or has the ill-advised game, But, overall it was, really good game. Buka's just doing amazing stuff as a rookie wide receiver. Like, rookie wide receivers don't do this in the National Football Leagues. And Tampa's legit. Tampa is a threat in the NFC.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I meant to say that too, Doc. That's a good Mekabuka. I didn't know about him before, Lee. I know you knew all about him, but I didn't know about him before, and and just looking into his background and looking at the type of person he is, individual person outside of football, I'm impressed. And then look at football, he's balling, man. He's balling. But Lee, you probably saw this, long time ago.
Yeah, all too well. All too well. But I saw too much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
No. Even being the Ohio State fan that I am,
Yes.
and I am happy he is doing well in the pros. I did not think he would do this well this soon.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the dude's just balling out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great to have a veteran quarterback and an offense that knows how to use you. But there's lots of rookies that come from great programs that come to the pros and have a veteran quarterback and don't do what this dude's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is without the wide receiving core at its best. So he's playing number one receiver status now 3-4 weeks into the season, and that's quite impressive.
Yeah, balling with Mike Evans out, and he's still balling. That's legit. That's definitely legit. Oh. All right, so in the Thursday night game this week, we got my Eagles against the New York Giants. We will be traveling to the Meadowlands to play the Giants. Second year Saquon coming back to the Giants. This is gonna be. I think this is going to be a close game, man. Believe it or not, I think this is going to be close. It's a division game. It's always, especially with us having our hiccups on offense. I think we definitely win the game, right? I mean, we definitely win the game, but it's going to be a closer game than I would like to have to see. This is just my gut feeling. I don't think that there's going to be this eruption. But I do think, I know Saquon is going to come up big in this game. He's going to come up big in this game. I think this is going to be his breakout game for the year against his old team. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be exciting because I know, everybody think, Eagles, this is going to be easy. No, I think this one is going to be a tight match. But the Eagles pull it out. I think we win by a touchdown, but it's gonna be tight though.
Do you think AJ Brown gets over 70 receiving yards in this game?
No. I think he's gonna be involved. He's gonna get some catches. I think Smitty is going to do well, like how he's been doing. I think there's still some things that need to be worked out there. I don't think it's gonna be worked out that quick with AJ on the AJ front. But I just think Saquon is gonna play hero ball again this game.
Yeah, I mean, if he's healthy, then yeah, I think you guys will run all over these guys. But if he's not healthy, I don't know. Giants may win this one.
I don't see that happening, but
Giants may win this one.
What you think, Doc?
No. So if Saquon's healthy, Eagles can win by at least 10, right? I think the question is, if Saquon's not healthy, do you guys stick with the formula that you had before Saquon came? And Saquon was that cherry on top. Or do you start to make your other alpha males happy and go away from what the recipe is for success?
Yeah.
Right. You guys are supposed to run the ball regardless of who's in the backfield. And only when those safeties come up, you get your one-on-one matchups with AJ and Devontae Smith. Right. Yeah. But if you guys start trying to pass to set up the run, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of quarterback you have. That's not the kind of offensive system y'all got. You only got the running backs. Like, it's not gonna work. Whether it's Saquon or not, y'all need to run to set up the pass.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
That's the recipe for success. So
yeah. I definitely agree with that. I think that with Saquon. Well, let me go back a little bit. The everybody knows right now the line is kind of banged up, right? So with the line being banged up, that is a factor, but I still think it's not gonna be detrimental to the game. To where Saquon still won't be. He's going to have the adrenaline, obviously getting back there again and being able to do what he got to do. So he's going to gut that one out and do what he has to do there. So, yeah, I just see it. I just see it. Close game, but Eagles just pull it out.
Yeah, man. So, you talk about the offensive line being banged up, right? The Cowboys had their game this past weekend. I think they were missing 3 or 4 offensive linemen, but they still ran the ball. Williams had a really good game. And they have a new offensive line coach who I think used to be with the Cardinals, right? And I think there's some coaches that coach the line and depend on their linemen's talent versus coaching scheme and technique and angles and approach. So when the starters get hurt and the backups come in, they can't do what the starters did because they weren't teaching fundamentals. They weren't teaching technique. They weren't teaching the calls to make, to double teams, to get the angles, to seal here. And so the line suffers. And there's other coaches who it doesn't seem to matter who the offensive linemen are. This team still seems to run the ball. Not as well as with the starters, but it's not a huge drop off. And that's just something y'all really need to work on. Because like I said, the offense, like the whole thing works if you're able to run the ball. And a year ago, 2 years ago, so few teams were committed to running the ball that just trying to run the ball made you stand out. Now some defenses are trying to catch back up, and they're actually starting to have defenses built to stop the run versus the pass. So now you actually need to know what you're doing moving the ball, right? And that's it's the beauty of it's the cat and mouse of football. That's why I love it. But you guys need to make sure that you can run the ball even if your starters aren't there, because everything goes to pot if you can.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. So it's gonna be good. We'll bounce back on Friday, to talk about this game, recap this game from Thursday, and I'll be flying high, of course. Ain't nothing to it.
Scatterboo.
Yeah. He'll be scared. He'll be scatterbooing about that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, man. All right, fellas. This is a good one. So catch up on Friday.
Sounds good. All right.
All right, man.
Cool.